Broads Media.
So as I've been saying since 1987, Nick Sirianni is incompetent. Nick Sirianni sucks, okay? What we just watched, it makes zero sense they won this football game. It's phenomenal that you have Saquon and Devontae Smith. That Devontae Smith touchdown catch is Hall of Fame level catch. That's catch of the year, catch of the decade. Holy shit! What? Same with that Saquon backwards jumping over people stuff. And it's tremendous that you have that level of talent on your team. When it comes down to the playoffs, though, and you're no longer playing Doug Peterson, who's about to get his ass canned, and Trevor Lawrence, who can't throw a football on the money. These games will come down to 3 points. These games will come down to 2 points. These games will come down to one decision. Yet this guy fucks up 7 decisions in one game. Nick Sirianni does not help this team. He either doesn't do anything to get in the way, and we somehow give him a standing ovation for that, or he destroys you. And I'm not just reacting to results, meaning I don't disagree with the first 4th and 3 to A.J. Brown that wasn't completed, and Jalen was a little slow on his decision-making and his throw. I have no issue when you're around midway through the field and you're just on the other team's side of the football field and it's 4th and 2, 4th and 3, and you want to dial up a pass to be aggressive and keep your offense out there. I got no issue with it. I got issues when you take extra points off to go for 2, you don't make it. And now it's a less possession game. That's incompetent. That's unthinkable. Your job as a CEO is to understand timing, understand score, understand the flow of the game. This guy's lost. Look, even the 4th and inches. It's not dumb to go for it on 4th and inches. But what you have to do is rely on a play that you have, that you literally succeed with 99% of the time. I don't care that they stopped it twice. Make them stop it a 3rd time. What are the odds that they stop it a 3rd time? And if they do, tip your cap. But what the fuck was that 4th and inches play call? That's pathetic. You got scared out of your own game by Jacksonville. The Jags scared you. Oh, that's sad. I had 1 goal today, and this game was starting out being exactly what I wanted it to be, a relaxer. It became a sweated outer. Okay? Sidney Brown makes a massive play on special teams. Zach Bond does a great job acquiring an interception. The team has life. You're pounding them. The Jags have 35, 36 total yards as an offense, and they can't generate squiddly dick. They couldn't do dick. And it got close. It got close because the coach is destroying you. In what world? In what world do you ask Jake Elliott to kick that 57-yard field goal? Look at me. There was a 0% chance that was ever going to work. You make him sit there all game long for hours And it's not a 50-yarder. It's not a 51-yarder. This thing's a 57-yarder. It was never going to work. You give them a short field. I mean, that is idiotic. And as much as I love Saquon to death, and boy, do I love Saquon, sliding, we've now played 8 games. I can give you 3 scenarios late in the game. He's made really questionable plays happen. Sliding, the drop pass, it is so brutal. Now, speaking of Saquon, he does a million things that are sexy prior to that hiccup, but that hiccup tends to keep popping up in clutch moments. Let's get to the fumble. Yeah, the NFL's stupid. There are morons that get paid a lot of money to look at the replay booth, and it was clear and obvious that that should have never happened. Here's the thing, though. This isn't new. The NFL has always sucked at replays. What are you going to do about it in the moment, emotionally, if you're the head coach, when you get screwed? Because inevitably, you are going to get screwed in this league with some sort of embarrassing, pathetic call. Well, you're going to fall apart and collapse, apparently. Egregious. I'm so happy for Nakobe Dean, though. For everything he's been through with his health, for the questions and all that were asked about if he can do it, if he can't do it. Trevor Lawrence made a god-awful throw, but there's a lot of stiffs defensively in this league where you can hit them in the hands, square in the chest, in the hands, and they won't come up with it. Nakobe Dean made a spectacular play, and Zach Berman touched on this postgame that he actually got beat on a similar play in camp with Kenny Gainwell and learned from that, and then now in the regular season comes up large to secure a game and save Nick Sirianni's ass. Now, I'm a little disappointed because now Nick Sirianni is going to get less heat than he deserves because the win does mask how bad it was. But I'm very happy for Nakobe Dean. I'm very happy for the turnovers the defense helped the offense out with. They were no joke. A.J. Brown leaves the game. I'm wondering at times what this offense is doing, but your special teams helps out early on. Zach Bond helps out. It's a team game. You need all 3 phases to get going. But there's still a lot of questions with this offense. What I just see, though, is special talent making special plays. Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, special talent making special plays. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to have. This coach sucks. I don't want to hear it for 1 second that, yeah, but Broads, he makes the playoffs. Whoop-de-fucking-do, they expanded the playoff format. Yeah, but he's got a good record. Replace him with anybody else with this team and this roster. They're going to have a good record and probably a better record. And I don't value last year's playoff appearance, by the way. That's not a good one. That's not the standard. Last year's playoff appearance does not count as a success for me at all. That's not a successful season. Last year was not a successful season. Not that I want to go relive that right now. I'm too worried trying to digest the disgrace that just went down at the link. That felt very much like what happened with the Atlanta Falcons. Now let's see if Nick Sirianni has spoken yet, because I'm waiting. Oh, I'm waiting. I don't give a damn about Matthew Stafford. I don't care about what's happening with Geno Smith. I don't care about any of these plays. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. All right. Anyway, here's a stat from Paul Domowitch. Jalen Hurts had his 5th straight game without a pick. He should have been picked. Oh, he should have been picked. What was the sequence? It was late in the game. Jalen, there was the awesome run where Saquon picked up the blitz. That was actually a pretty damn good run when I thought they were going to run away with it late earlier than they did. Obviously, it took to the very last second in the Kobe Dean interception, but there was that awesome play. But then Jalen Hurts over the middle overthrows his guy, and they pretended like they picked it off, and then they went to the replay, and it obviously hit the ground. But that was a piss-poor throw that should have been intercepted. He should have had an interception there. But Jalen Hurts had his 5th straight game without a pick and 4th straight game without a turnover. In the last 4 games, he's averaging 10.2 yards per attempt. In the last 3 games, he's got a 75.9 completion percentage. Oh, I mean, look, I do think Jalen Hurts with the throw to Devontae. I mean, Jalen played a pretty good game, but the head coach stinks. The head coach stinks. I don't know what else I need to do than to show you these games. And these games happen. Too much. And I'm disappointed because I thought that second half of Cincinnati was going to push me forward into believing that this team's about to seriously go on a ride. Maybe they still technically go on a ride because they can handle these regular season games. It's not doing it for me. There's a problem here with the coach. You can't win with this. You can't win in the playoffs with this. These type of mistakes, you'll lose by 12. You'll lose by double digits. You'll lose by 2 touchdowns. You play good teams, and I guess maybe you could say, bro, there's not really that many good teams in the NFC outside of the Lions. The Lions will beat you by 20 points. I don't even think it's a competitive football game. Unless I'm not giving Saquon, AJ, and Devontae, and even Jalen enough love and recognition for how special players they can be if it happens to fall on one of the days where they are electric and all clicked in. Those games you can win with a bad head coach, I guess. But I wouldn't put my money down on it. You can't win real playoff games on the road, 3-point games, 1-possession games. The margin of, when you think about errors, Nick Sirianni will have you lose those games 99 out of 100 times. You can get by the Browns. You can get by the Giants. You can get by a Jags team that's selling at the deadline, moving on from linemen, on backup linemen, no weapons. Guys in their skill positions are injured, and Trevor Lawrence can't hit his men. You could beat those teams. I'm trying my best. I really am. I did everything in my power after that second half in Cincinnati to turn the page and buy in. And now, due to the coach, I think I've taken 10 steps backwards again. I was there. They had me where they wanted me. They had me exactly where they probably could have drew it up in the best case scenario after the whole Nick Sirianni drama went down. If they said, okay, this is the best case scenario from this point moving forward, we get Broads to buy back in after a dominant second half against Cincy, and then from there we can rattle off some wins and look poised and look well coached and look like a structured team with a strong foundation and a personality and a squad that has some sort of identity, and you could buy into this. I was right there. But what am I supposed to do with that? Pretend that I have to be blindfolded by the context of how they won and just be happy with their record and just be thrilled that they're 6-2? It's a good record. It really is. None of this truly makes sense with the Nick Sirianni run here because he has teams with good records. But is it really because Nick Sirianni is some genius and magnificent coach, or is it Howie Roseman put together a lot of talent on this team? I know you can't ask for much more. Maybe it's 7-1, right? Like, I get record-wise, it can't be that much better. Most teams are at 8-0 through 8 games, right? 7-1, that's a pretty elite record, and being 6-2 is a damn good record, and I understand that. but we all watch the games. You can't tell me that this is right. You can't tell me that this way of Nick Sirianni is proper, that this is sustainable, that this is real, unless the league is that putrid. And it's very possible that the league is that putrid, that it opens up the door for a talented team that isn't well coached to go on a surge and make a lot of noise. It's possible, but I have to imagine that there's a massive cap on that. Because if this team was well coached with this roster, holy shit. I can't keep forgetting what that would be like. I can't stop imagining and figuring out what the ceiling of that team would be. When I lived in Boston and I played junior hockey, my goalie from Michigan, diehard Lions fan. He hits me up every Sunday. The way he talks about his team, rightfully so, even though they're the Detroit Lions of all franchises, should be the way that we talk about our team. In 2022, we had this swag that go fuck yourself attitude. There's no reason why we shouldn't be having that. Now it's, I don't know, we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot 73 times this game? I don't know, we're going to make it significantly harder than it needs to be? I don't know, are we going to come out and be able to score in the first quarter? Hey, whoop-de-damn-do. I'm sure Nick is so proud of himself, thanks to a special teams play. It's ridiculous. All right, here's Nick Sirianni. It was the best play I've ever seen. Saquon backwards. Well, here's the truth. The Devontae Smith catch was better than that. Joe Giglio says, Trevor Lawrence throwing high and Nakobe D making a great interception saved the Eagles from one of the worst losses any of us have ever seen. Nick Sirianni took 9 points off the board. 9. Seth Joyner said, our coach is an idiot. Oh, man. He just straight up said it mid-game. It is classic. Nick Sirianni on being aggressive. I need to have the balls to do it. I'm okay with being aggressive. I am totally okay with being aggressive. I think he tried to double down, triple down, 2-point conversions. Being aggressive is good. The Eagles won a Super Bowl with their backup tight end throwing a touchdown pass to their backup quarterback on the right side of the end zone on a trick play. You gotta have balls. You have to be aggressive to be a killer team in this league, in this era of football. So you shouldn't be angry with him going on certain fourth downs. It's the way he's doing certain things. 4th and inches, go to your play. That's pretty much automatic, even though it was stopped. It is literally 4th and inches. You are out-thinking this or outsmarting yourself or whatever it is. You're overthinking it. The 57-yarder, I mean, it's stupidity. Extra point compared to a 2-point conversion. Do the math. Is it worth it? Is it not? No, it's not worth it. And then you do it again, and then they score the one touchdown. Automatically, he's putting up 2 again just to triple down because you're being arrogant as hell for no reason. That is what makes no sense. You don't have to kick a field goal every 4th down in enemy territory. Quite frankly, if I had a coach that kicked field goals all the time, I'd say, what a joke. I'd be just as pissed. I'd say loser. I'd say literal loser. Soft, scared loser if they were kicking points, field goals every time. I love aggression. You got to be smart with it. Nick Sirianni isn't smart with it. It's incompetent. This is the National Football League. It is as boneheaded gets. On my Bleacher Report stream that I did prior to this pod, somebody in the comments said, Nick Sirianni isn't as bad as you're making it out to be. He just makes boneheaded decisions throughout the game. Well, if a quarterback made boneheaded decisions in the game, leading to turnovers and hurting your team, he's not a good quarterback. He stinks. If the head coach is constantly making decisions that are boneheaded every week and horrible, he's not that good of a coach. I don't get this tie to Nick Sirianni where we need to hold off and pump the brakes on serious, legitimate criticism when the team is this good on paper. I don't know what you need to see. What are you waiting on? When does Nick Sirianni give you the advantage? When Zach Taylor was urinating all over himself last week by making terrible decisions? Yeah, once again, he can stay out of the way or he can be horrible. When is he great? When is he elite? When is he damn good at his job? It doesn't seem to be the option. It's either stays out of the way and he high-fives his teammates, woohoo, or he's horrible. And I demand more out of my head coach. Although Shady said on WIP this past week that he does a lot more on this offense than people give him credit for. And that scares me. That's probably why I'm underwhelmed. All right, look, we're going to get to the Anytime Hotline. Few things, though. My friends at Garage Beer, it's the greatest beer in the world. It helps me when I'm in pain like this. And it helps me when I'm super happy and I want to feel good. It's all about Garage Beer. There's no better beer than Garage Beer. 0% IPA. 100% light beer, 1,000% quality. DrinkGarageBeer.com. You do not want to miss out. And also, if you are new to the channel, hello, welcome on in to Sports Talk with Broads. You can hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate it. I love talking Philly sports every day with all of you. You people are the greatest in the world. I love you. I mean that. So thank you. And you can also take me on the road with you. Sports Talk with Broads or Broads Media on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of your podcasting platforms. If you subscribe over there, leave a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the algorithms. You guys are the best. Seriously, I love you. So, all right, with that, let's go to the Anytime Hotline, take some calls from the people, and here we go.
What's up, Broads? My first time calling in. Never called in before. Just want to let you know, I've been watching you since I was like 11, man. I'm like 18 now.
Wow.
Great to see success enjoyed, but, you know, getting into it. So I'm a Philadelphia sports fan and everything. Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, but I'm not in football. I'm actually a Jags fan, born in Jacksonville. But, you know, just watching this game, dude, Nick Sirianni fucking pose, bro. He is the only reason we were in this football game, man. And I was just cheering. But, bro, you are not going anywhere with Nick Sirianni as the head coach. Nick Sirianni is battling out.
Oh, no, you're breaking up.
But anyways, how's it going, bro?
Well, thank you so much. I'm just breaking up a little bit at the end. I really appreciate all the words. I always thought that was a little difficult emotionally. Now, you say you're from Jacksonville and all that, so it makes sense. But to be Philly for 3 of the teams and then the one team that you know is our baby and in our blood and we bleed green and, you know, you're not with us with that sport, it's got to be rough. But anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate the phone call. Nick Sirianni's a joke. Now, Nick Sirianni admitted that the Eagles getting stopped on the brotherly shoves made him, quote, think twice about using it again when the Eagles were 4th and inches and went away from it. That's horrible. Bro, that is awful. So you are admitting that the play that works at a 99.9% clip, because it got stopped twice, you're more willing to triple down on 2-point conversions, which is significantly less percentage of a play to get into the end zone, than you are a brotherly shove with Jalen Hurts and this offensive line and this team, where most teams can't stop it once. What are the odds of all squads the Jags are going to stuff you 3 times in a game? And once again, if they do, then so be it. But do you see how gross your other effort is? And by the way, they tried it early on, and there was a penalty. I think it was Jack Stoll. It was someone on the O-line or someone there in a, tight end, whatever. I don't know who it was who moved early. They tried a weird variation of it. That wasn't working. They had some penalties laid. Okay, come on, man. Get it cleaned up. How many times do you think they practiced that? I'd imagine a bunch. If not, we got an issue. But I'd imagine they practiced a bunch of different versions of a play off the tush push. And then here we go. We're going for it early against the Jags, and you botch it. Maybe that's what gave them less confidence to run it, because they were going to try a variation off of it and said, the last time we did this, we screwed up. But even then, it'd be dumb. Go to the basics. Go with what works. That play is so frustrating to go up against. Hell, sometimes it's even annoying for me to watch. As an Eagles fan, I go, you guys are so desperate. It works, but damn, this offense with this much talent should be doing way more things than a 1-yard play. But it works. And I'm sure it beats the other team down, because it's really a 1st and 9 or a 1st and 9.5 or 1st and 8.5 sometimes when it's a first down. Although, how many dumb broadcasts are we going to get? This is the second or third crew now. When it's 4th and 3, they're stunned that the Eagles don't come out in the brotherly shove formation. It's 3 yards, you dope. 3 yards. What do you think they're going to do? Our coach is afraid to run it when it's 4th and inches. You're calling for it on 4th and 3. Do some research, will you? Here we go. Nick Sirianni now has a winning streak of 4+ games or more in each of the past 4 seasons. Only other coaches that have done that, Sean McDermott, Andy Reid, Matt LaFleur, of current coaches, that is, and John Harbaugh. Nick isn't even close to Andy Reid. Nick isn't close to John Harbaugh. I don't think Nick's close to Matt LaFleur. I know that the Sean McDermott thing, people are a little angry. The Bills haven't gotten farther than they have. They have to deal with Pat Mahomes all the time. I'd be lying if I told you I know exactly how Buffalo fans feel with the day-to-day grind of Sean McDermott after X amount of seasons. But I'll tell you what. All these stats about Nick Sirianni being good because of a certain amount of wins, you're lying to yourself. And there's a good portion of people out there who feel that strongly about it. You're lying to yourself. Let's take the next call.
Bros, I'm telling you right now, dude, if Nick Sirianni does not get his act together, I am personally going to walk to the link and have a heart-to-heart with him. He is the worst coach I think I have ever seen in my entire existence. Despite our team winning, I have never felt worse about a head coach in my life. Get rid of him. I heard cheerleaders is hiring for a doorman, because that's where he belongs. He's that bad of a coach. He has no confidence. He looks soft. He forgot to take his anxiety meds. He goes for two too much. And then he expects Elliott to come on the field and kick a 50-yard field goal. Where's this dude's head at?
Not a 50-yard field goal. I could live with a 50-yard field goal. Almost a 60-yard field goal. I'm surprised he didn't walk into the press conference with his kids. I'm surprised he didn't do something like take your shirt off and pull an Antonio Brown running off the field, flipping everybody off and saying, fuck you. Surprised. I'm sure he's feeling that deep down that he wants to, which is the problem. That he feels there's validation in that win. Not from your perspective. There's validation for Saquon, even though that slide. But there's validation for Saquon, that pass. When a wheel route is executed, the first touchdown, the adjustment in the air to make the catch, ew. Dotson with that catch, ew. Devontae, ew. Right? I mean, they should feel validated. They should feel proud of themselves. And even more so. Like, you should feel validated when you win and your coach does a good job. You should feel quadruple validated for your efforts when you do it and your coach sucks. Do you know how hard it is to be a head coach, for your team to win, and for Dan Orlovsky, Seth Joyner, everyone in this city, Greeny, like all these national... It's hard to win a game and for you to have this much of the focus. It's unprecedented. To be questioned this much with this record is unprecedented. And it's not happening irrationally. We're not the wrong ones. The reason it's happening when it never happens with this type of record and this type of winning and these playoff appearances, like, this doesn't happen for a reason, because most teams can't succeed at this rate with this level of incompetence. But to Howie's credit and to the players' credit, They can. Coop on fourth downs. Like, he's making plays out there. Dude's a dog. Most teams can't be in this position. The Eagles can be. But it's nearly impossible to have this much rightful negative noise towards a head coach that's 6-2 and making the playoffs nonstop every single year. So it just shows you exactly how problematic it is.
Are we going to talk about Nakobe Dean's interception? No. Are we going to talk about Smith's catch? No. Saquon being a badass? No. We're going to keep talking about this fucking coach. It's been a year since that 49ers ass whooping, and we still have got to deal with this bullshit every week. We've had one half of fun, and that was last week against the Bengals. One half compared to an entire year's worth of football. I can't stand this guy. I see Jeffrey Lurie miserable sitting in the booth. How is Nick not gone? 6-2, I don't care. We're frauds. We have an easy schedule. We'll make the playoffs and probably bounce in the first round. Have a nice night. I'm going to bed.
Going to bed? It's 8 o'clock. I mean, that call came in at 7:30, right around when the game ended. Going to bed? That win put him to bed. Oh! Look, I get it, man. I'm right there with you. It's a joke. It's a joke. I've been saying it for a while, and you're right. Shame on me for not really processing it when I brought up that Cincinnati game earlier. But we're 8 games in, 9 weeks in, 8 games in. I've been satisfied and enjoyed football for, I'd say Green Bay was good. Now, the Jalen Hurts interceptions were a problem, but I wasn't, from my recollection at least, maybe you can go back and actually listen and let me know. But from my recollection, I don't think I fully hated their win against Green Bay in Brazil week 1. I don't think I did. So week 1 in Brazil, game 1, although I had concerns about the quarterback play, it was still a good win. And then a half against Cincy. So I got 6 quarters. 6 quarters. I'll say it again. Nick Sirianni stinks. Stinks. And it really isn't that hard to see that. And you're right about that shot up to the box. Jeffrey Lurie, as the comeback started to pursue for the Jags and they started to smell blood. Yo, you saw his face. Aggravated. It already happened this year against the Falcons. It was going to happen again. The Jags are awful. The Jags and Trevor Lawrence and the state of their team and Doug Peterson's unknown. If he's fired, if he's not coaching for his life. You should have lost this game. Kirk Cousins and the Falcons can put you away. The Jags aren't capable of putting you away. But in regards to how the Eagles played down the stretch and how they allowed for a team to get that close, you're lucky it wasn't Kirk Cousins, who isn't very good, by the way. He's just average. He's probably above average, but that's just because the play of the league stinks. I mean, there's a lot of rough quarterback play out. There's a lot of bad teams. A lot of bad teams. So that doesn't make me feel better about my team because my goal is to compete with the best. And I don't know if the coach is going to allow for you to do that. Like I wanted to see here. Yeah, that's right. The Panthers beat the Saints. Remember when you thought the Saints win was good? How the Eagles went to New Orleans and won a tough game. And no. The Saints suck. They just lost to the Panthers. And they're now 2-7. The league stinks. But that doesn't make me feel good about my team. All right. Appreciate it. Love you guys to death. You know that. We'll be talking very soon. See you on the next one.